All right, again, I'm Jeff Smith with Brady Services. I want to talk about going from use case to business case, and just to give you a little graphic of kind of what I mean by that, right? So this right here is a use case, right? Could be a good idea, maybe not, right? Depends on what decade you're in. So in the 80s, this is a great use case, right? Now, not so much, right? So we're really going from something that's an idea of how to hold something to a business case, right? So we're getting more formal. We're putting, processes around it, planning around it. So that's kind of what I'm here to talk about, right? All right. I'll talk a little bit about what our initial use case was. I'll talk about what we ended up with our business case, because it was different. I'll talk about some things around building a good business case, around what the idea is and the ROI. Talk about some of the aspects of putting together a good business case, which is around partner, people, process, and technology. And then some of the learnings of our full deployment. So I'll go through all that. Again, a little bit more about Brady. Maybe you guys don't know what we do yet, but we're in the commercial building services space. We do air conditioning, boilers, and commercial security. So these are our guys that are out there on the road every day. My job is to make them more rock stars than they are today, because they're really smart people. They're out solving really big problems on really expensive equipment, right? So they're out there, in tough environments fixing $1 million pieces of equipment, just kind of with the headset they have and the tools they have on their van. So a lot of respect for these guys, and again, my job is to make them rock stars. And one of the ways we're doing that is with this wearable technology. So this is what our full deployment looks like. This is my guy in the field. We've done 100% deployment. Every single one of our techs has the wearables, and we're using it for a couple different things. What we first started with was our first use case, which I hear a lot of, is the remote support, right? So doing the kind of see what I see, and that's absolutely a great use case, and it's turning into a business case. We've already got remote support today. We do this every day. This is a guy that sits in the office. He dials into building management systems. He's on the phone. So we're already doing this remote support, and we have been for a while. So we thought, hey, how can we extend this to kind of the visual realm of helping our technicians and help them learn and help them troubleshoot and fix things in the field? So we've already got this going on. Let's just extend it using wearables. So to do that, you have to have a couple things. One is bars, right? Bars on your phone, bars on your Wi-Fi. You got to be able to connect. And just interestingly enough, I was sitting at the table here a little bit earlier this morning. I try to get my email. It says can't get email. I've got one bar. So I could not do virtual support in this room today. I don't have the bandwidth, right? So that's one thing you need. The other thing is you need 4G, right? So you got to have a good signal. You got a 4G to really do this streaming video thing, which we really want to do. And we do some today, okay? So I'm not saying we don't do that. We absolutely do that, but that's not our business case. Other things that kind of go along with this is kind of where we work, right? So these are, this is North Carolina. Some of the major cities are starred here. So we do work in Charlotte and Raleigh and places you've heard of. We also do work in Lizard Lick, North Carolina, and Why Not, North Carolina, and Tick Bite, North Carolina, right? So in Tick Bite, North Carolina, they don't have a good signal. Let me just tell you that. They don't know what G's are. They probably don't even know what the internet is, right? So we're not doing remote support in Tick Bite, North Carolina, where one of our customers is, okay? So that's just the reality of day to day. The other thing is, here's where we also do a lot of work, is in basements and places, like the basement of this building, where there's no internet signal and there's only light if the lights are on. So these are real challenges with the remote support use case. And it made it to where we just couldn't justify it. We couldn't put the business case around being able to do it every time when we needed to do it. So we moved on to something else. What is that something else, right? So our business case, which is maybe a little bit unique, but you need to think about it, is how do we create a better customer experience? How do we ultimately sell more using wearables? So this is our business case. Again, we've got it deployed to every single one of our technicians. And what this looks like is they take a 1 minute to 1.5 minute video on every single job they go on. And we send that to the customer. And so we're telling the customer, using visuals, what we're doing for them. And so we'll watch a few, okay? I don't have a slick marketing video. We just have a couple videos in here that show exactly what our guys are doing every single day of the week on every call. So let me play a couple here.
This is Chris Vogt with Brady Train out of Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm out here at Joe Watt doing a leak check on this unit, and was able to find it right here on this fitting off the discharge line. It looks like the whole fitting is got a hairline fracture somewhere in it. I actually can't even see the split, but it runs all the way up and down and side to side right in here. So we're going to have to weld that up, and then we'll get a vacuum on this thing and refrigerant put back in it to get it back up and running again. And thank you for choosing Brady as your HVAC partner.
All right, so that's our first video. That was our first rock star. So our customers love seeing that video. They want to hear Chris talking to them about the machinery and seeing what's going on. We're going to take that, we're going to add it to a quote, and we're going to send it to the customer and say, here's what's wrong with your piece of equipment that our expert Chris found, and here's how much it is to fix. In this case, $4,000. We got to go do some stuff. We got to take the gas out of the machine, put the gas back in the machine after we make the repair. It's $4,000 bucks. You're going to buy it, right? So our first use case is really sending these videos with a quote so we show exactly what we found on the units and proving that something needs to be done. So our original closure rate on our quoted business is 52%. When we send a quote to the customer, 52% of the time they accept it and they move on. What we found is when we add video to that, we've gone to 72%. So our closure rate on our quoted business is way up. This is somewhat intuitive. I mean, if you look at Amazon, do you see anything on Amazon that doesn't have a picture or video with it? No, you don't. I mean, this is the new way of taking care of your customer and giving them a new experience of adding pictures and adding video to what you're trying to sell them. So this is our first part of the business case. Let's watch another video and kind of see the next part of it here.
Hey, this is Matt with Brady. It's March 8th. I'm at NC State, Sullivan 1, CGAF chiller. There's water in the suction line and the refrigerant side. We've got the barrel off here. Circuit 2, it's leaking on the refrigerant. This is the refrigerant tubing, and as you can tell with water coming out of it, pretty much we would condemn the barrel at this point. By the time you went through and capped off the ends, it would be hardly anything there to cool. Also, we found both compressors on circuit 2 shorted to ground with the megger. So between the two compressors and the barrel on the second circuit side, those would be the repairs. So we'll give a quote and let us know how we can help you. Thank you for choosing Brady.
Great. So there's a lot going on here. Another rock star in the field. So why is this important? Why do customers buy? It's because of how our brains are wired. A couple of facts around this. The brain processes information 60,000 times faster for visuals than for text. It's pretty important. So we can really, the customer who's not on site with this technician, he's watching this video remotely about a piece of equipment that he's responsible for. He's got to understand quickly what's going on. Just a little tip, water's not supposed to be running out of that unit, okay? That's bad. How much water's running out? A lot, right? It's really bad. So 90% of the information that comes to the brain is visual, so we're really visual creatures. This is important. Visuals improve learning by up to 400%. One of the big trends in our industry is our customers used to be standing right beside us. They were in the mechanical room, they were on the roof, and they're not anymore because they're pushed for time. Everybody's pushed for productivity. So they're remote, they don't see what we see anymore. They're not learning about what we do, they don't even know what we do. So these videos are huge for teaching our customers the value we bring and also improving trust with our customers. It's a big deal with trust. And the last piece is seeing and hearing improves retention by about 150%. So what's important about this is I want the guy at NC State to wake up in the middle of the night and remember that thing's leaking. He'll remember it's leaking. He's got a really busy day. He's got a lot coming at him. We'll send him a quote for this. When he sees that video, he's going to take action. And that's what I want him to do. I want him to take action. Not, oh, I forgot to do that. So that ended up being a $48,000 sale. We ended up going in and having to replace the entire unit instead of trying to, tack weld it together. So it's a big deal for us. Here's the last video.
Hello, this is Daryl Jenkins with Brady Services. Today is March 8th. We're working at Strength of Nature's in Savannah, Georgia, installing a mini Mark 8 auto flame control. Installation included the module base unit here with the HMI touchscreen, fully automated graphics capable of tying into building DCS or Johnson Control monitoring systems if desired. We also installed the heavy-duty industrial servo motor as well as the gas actuator, which is incorporated into the physical gas body itself. Also have a UV scanner. We've run through, tested all the safeties, set the operating parameters, and given customer training to the appropriate people in the maintenance facility. Unit is online in automatic and working excellently. Thank you for using Brady Services.
Great. That was a good example. So we'd already done the job. This is a recap. So we're showing the customer, by the way, they spent $33,000 to do that upgrade. So this is, peace of mind. This is trust. The work's been done. Everything's running great. You made a good decision by doing this with us. Let me show you my expertise, and here's exactly what we did. So this just reinforces our expertise, which is some of the things that all of our competition talks about. If you ask any HVAC commercial security company, say, hey, what are the couple things that are really important to the customer? It's having the best techs, right? So this shows we've got the best techs. The customer sees it and they keep remembering it because we're doing this on every single job, every single time. All right, so a lot of people talk about the levers. We're talking about a lot of levers here, and most of the levers we're talking about around productivity. We're making things faster. We're doing remote support to drive, time between failure down. We're driving our time to get to the machines down. That's great, and we're working on that. But ours is all around price. Our business case is around price. How do we sell more? How do we create more value for our customers so that we can charge a higher price in the marketplace? And that's a lot of fun for us. All right, so our ROI, come down to it, we've run these two different plays, we'll call them, right? So putting videos on quotes and putting videos on every work order we do, and our return on investment is for every dollar we've invested, we get a $4.20 return. That's our ROI. Now that's conservative, and that's just on those two plays, and there's lots of other plays we can run with this, and we're working on those, but for our business case, for what I gotta convince our owner to go do, we proved it out. It's working. So there's other parts of a business case you need to have besides just the financial part. You need to have some other parts to your business case to make sure that for every dollar you invest, you're gonna get something back. There's 4 pieces, I think, that go to that. Partner, people, process, and technology. So this is when we start talking about building your business case and we're moving towards a deployment. We've got all this. We need a plan around each of these. So our partner is XOI. Excuse me. We chose this partner because they're really passionate about our space. They specialize in field service. They have the devices that work for our guys, on the hardware, the software. They bring processes to us. They bring ideas to us. We're working collaboratively. This is where it's not a vendor relationship. And I think earlier we talked about, Paul talked about, you need to have a different buying model. You can't do an RFP for this kind of stuff. You need to find a partner early on, get with them, and then journey with them throughout this process of building your business case. Because the partner is really key in understanding what you're going to be doing with their hardware and software. All right, this is about people. This is a part of our change management plan at Brady. And really, this isn't a change management model. This is the 4 stages of grief right here. If anybody's ever seen this. This is what psychologists use to move people through grief. And if you've ever been through a deployment, there's grief, right? And there's grieving the old way that we used to do things and coming into the new way. So what does this look like for a kind of a wearables deployment? And we take our leaders through this to kind of look for it and work through it, because our leaders and our field supervisors and our champions in the field have to work through this whether they know it or not. So the first thing is denial. What does that look like? That looks like, well, Jeff went to a conference and he came back and said, we're going to do smart glasses. We're not going to do smart glasses, right? The techs are saying, we're not going to do that. That's just something you learned at the conference. We'll just wait it out. It's not going to happen. That's denial. It's just not even going to happen. Resistance comes when they start seeing action around, oh my goodness, well, they signed on with their partner XOI, and I think maybe they're really going to do it, but it's not going to work here, right? Not going to work here. Has anybody ever heard that from field people? It's not going to work here. So that's resistance. Resistance is the whole idea doesn't even work. Then we need to move people from resistance to exploration, which is, okay, the idea's not going to work, to I tried to connect the smart glasses to do this and the video got hung up and all. That's still, hey, it's not working, but they're trying it. And that's an important step, going from I don't like the idea to, well, there's part of the solution that's not working. But that's a big step. To moving people to commitment, which is where they're saying, this works for me, I like it, I'm going to tell the next guy we need to do this. That's the commitment. So everybody in the organization has to go through this. Some people go through faster than others, but everybody's got to go through this. You can't skip steps. I wish you could, but you can't. So this is part of our change model at Brady that we use. You need to have some sort of model around what you're going to do with your people, because you got to take them through this. A lot of this is about early communication. A lot of it's about getting champions. A lot of it's about getting people in the field, like I think they talked about earlier. You can't do this at corporate and then kind of just shove it on the field. You got to get everybody involved pretty early. Our next thing is process. So this isn't real sexy, but this is kind of how we do things at Brady. We ran a rapid improvement event, or Kaizen, in manufacturing, to get all the people that were involved in our beta testing together to say, what is the process? How do we define it? How do we make this standard work and instruct our folks how to use it? So it's not important what the steps are, but we're telling everybody, here's where you use the technology in the process. Here's the standard work. Here's what I want you to do every day, and here's when it works and when it doesn't. So that's pretty important. You need to have that. That needs to be part of your business plan. You can't just give it to people and say, hey, use it when you think you need to. It's just not going to happen, right? The other piece is a playbook. You need to have some different plays to run. Your first one might not always work out. Your fanny pack might not be the ones you need to do. So in partnering with XOI, they came out with a playbook right here. They've got 32 plays in here. These are different ways you can use the technology to make money or save money. We're using 3 of them. I showed you 2. The third one is training videos. We're taking training videos out in the field, capturing the knowledge of our senior techs that are about to retire, and being able to leverage that to younger techs in a video format, kind of like a YouTube. So we're creating our own YouTube library, which is very important. So playbook's important. The other piece is, I couldn't find a better picture than this, software integration. So our guys are in software every day. They're doing their work tickets in an iPad. How do we attach the video after we've taken it and do all that? We've got to have the integration. And you have to have a partner that's going to work with IT and all your software partners to integrate this so it's frictionless for your tech or your person that's using the wearable technology. So having a partner that can do this is very important. Defining this and making sure this is part of your business case is very important. The last piece is technology, right? So this was old technology. I don't know if anybody's got anything older than this. This is probably what the grandfather came up with of wearables, right? So this is not ready. When is it ready? It's not when, hey, everything's working perfectly. I think somebody talked about that on the panels earlier. You need to go when you're a little bit uncomfortable. You're saying, I think this is ready to work. Can't be fully baked. You're probably too late. So this is what we're using today, and this works. That's why we chose it. That's why we chose XOI. It's a simple device. It does exactly what we need it to. It's got a couple of buttons on it, and you can use it with a glove. It's also mil-spec tested for drops and everything else that our field techs will put it through. The only one we've broken to date got run over by a truck. So we're doing pretty good. But this is how we're using it. Now, we love to have augmented reality, and we love to have all these other things, but we're kind of a small company. We don't have a lot of resources to do 3D drawings for 100 different manufacturers that we work out on the field. We just don't have it. So we're using technology, minimum viable product that's working today. And that's why we deployed it, and that's why we went with XOI. This works today for us. We've deployed it. We've got the processes. We're ready to go. When technology changes, our techs will already be used to it. We'll take this technology out, put this technology in, this hardware, the software, change it out, but we're way ahead of our competition. By the way, we're the first on the East Coast in our industry to deploy this, and we're really making a big splash marketing-wise with our customers. I think there's a little slick in the brochure of how we kind of made national news in our industry because we got started. I think that's another thing that we've been talking about during the conference is get started. Don't wait. This is great technology to go today. It's not everything I'd like because I'd love to have AR and it tells the guy what to do and it's got a drawing. But for our company of 450 folks and the technicians we have today, we're just not outfitted for that. So we went with something that works today. I'll talk a little bit about deployment. First starts with the use case. You have to have the use case. You got to start with that. I think this is where you need to find your partner here. This is the place I think you need to bring your partner in. Start talking about all the use cases. Start talking about some of the plays you're going to run. Pick more than one because the first one might not work out. This is where you're starting to develop, hey, what does the business case look like? What are the financials around this? What do we think we're going to save? What do we think we're going to make out of this? So you really need to bring them in early. This is really the design your sketching stuff out phase. Also, go ahead and start bringing in some users here. This is where you need to start engaging people. For all the really big companies, that's a lot harder. For us, it's a lot easier. I call somebody up, be in the office tomorrow. We're going to talk about how we implement smart glasses, right? The next is, just like these SEALs, getting some pretty devoted, really committed people to jump on the bandwagon early and be champions. For us, this was some service techs that we found that are really into technology, they're respected on their teams, and they'll just figure out how to get it done. They're not going to wait for all these roadblocks, kind of like the Navy SEALs. So that's what you need. You need some Navy SEALs in your organization to really go in and hit it hard and not let things get in their way until they figure it out and wrestle it down. So that's a phase in your deployment. The next phase is what I'll call a small deployment. We've got 10 geographic teams around the Carolinas, so we decided that we're going to deploy to one whole team. They've got skill sets up and down, they've got ages up and down, they've got technical abilities up and down. We're going to deploy to them to really see how our processes work. Because the beta team, they've been in it from the beginning, and things have changed and changed and changed, and at some point you kind of lose where you are. Like, what do we need to train on? I don't even know what we need to train. These guys just know how to use it now. Now we're going to a team of fresh people that have never seen this, and you're bringing it to them. You got to explain why you're doing it. You got to explain when to use the technology. You got to go through all the new processes. So this is a good chance to test out all that before you go to a full deployment. No, last picture. So that's kind of our process at Brady for big changes, and we think wearables is a big change. We're changing how people do their business every day. It doesn't take our guys a lot of extra time, but it's a big psychological change for somebody asking them to do something new on a job site that they've never done. So here's our 4 steps: the beta, then the idea testing, the beta testing, the small group, and then the big group. So that's what we learned about deployment. But have a plan. That's part of your business case. Because if you don't do this well, business case falls apart. So next steps for us, we're really excited about what's coming up. Now that we've had this deployed since December 1st. Our usage is climbing and climbing and climbing. We're starting to get videos on every job, and we're also starting to show with customers that we can get a premium in the marketplace for this new offering. I got a story the other day from one of our sales folks that said we were 10% high on a new service contract, but the customer went with us because nobody else is doing what we're doing and showing videos and really showing the work we're doing, and that meant a lot to the customer, so they're paying 10% more. That's part of our business case. So next steps for us is a couple of things. Is working with XOI, and we're taking all of these videos and how do we do the machine learning on the back end and start learning from these videos and seeing automated tagging and how do we walk up to a unit eventually and it can tell what unit we're working on and pull up the 5 or 10 videos that we've taken ourselves to fix that thing and really stitch those together on the back end. So that's a big, exciting thing, which is what I think everybody else is talking about. But you got to start generating that content to be able to do that, and we've already started with that. So we're getting ready for the future right now. The other big step we're going to do is we're doing the remote support thing when we can. When we have a signal, we do it. When we don't have a signal, we'll take a quick video, wait till we get a signal, and send it out. But our next step is to leverage this with our customers, is to turn this into a subscription service where our customers can either have the wearable device or the companion app that XOI has come up with. They can use either one or in tandem and charge a subscription to call back to us, the expert, to take care of it. So this is kind of a marketable item that we're going forward with. So we're really excited about that. And we're really excited to kind of work with our partner XOI on what that looks like. That's all I've got. Any questions?
Hi, well, I'm Dennis Adamkowitz. I'm from a company called Parker Hannifin, big industrial company that you never hear about. And one of the questions I had was, in your market space, there's an organization called ASHRAE. Mm-hmm. American Society for Heating and Air Conditioning Engineers. And they have a standard called BACnet, which has been around for a long time. Did you find that this, first off, do you use that, have you experienced using BACnet to get diagnostics and run controls? And was that something that you considered as you were doing part of this? Do your customers ignore that standard? Just curious how a standard fits in, because it would be nice to say, hey, we've got this standard that's been out there for 10, 15 years. It's well established, and this is a supplement that we can show you. So can you comment to that?
Yeah, we could probably talk offline. Really where the BACnet standard comes in for us is more of an IoT play. So that's a standard for building control systems, and we tap into building control systems and suck the data out and do analytics and all that. For this, for wearables, it's really separate. So this is separate networks. We're not using that yet, but we're building those parallel paths of Internet of Things around building equipment and the wearables, and at some point they'll converge, and we'll have that information available for the people. So yeah, absolutely, good question. Roland, did you have another question?
I did. So we tried to do something similar in my company, where I have like a worker, put on the glasses, record themselves doing a valve rebuild, 10-minute job, and then went to the video editing software, and everything was all centered.
Right.
And had to reshoot the video again with him turning his head to the side a little bit to try to make sure it framed it. Are your guys experiencing that? Can they make those videos in one shot, one take?
Yes.
Or do they have to keep redoing it because the camera's not quite, because the camera's off to the side, so it's not centered to where the worker's actually.
Yeah, so we're using the Vuzix M100s. I mean, that's who XOI's partner with right now. So there's a screen that shows you what you're shooting. So the guys get good at telling what they're doing. But yeah, at first they're retaking. I don't like how I sound. I don't like this. I tripped over someone else moving around. But that goes away pretty quickly. And all those were kind of one-shot videos.
And follow up, would you think it'd be better if they just recorded with their phone?
Well, they can do either. And we've got the companion app, which is great. So a quick thing, hey, I'm on a call. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I've left my glasses in the truck. I'm not going back to get them. I'm going to take a quick video with my cell phone. That works. And our salespeople and our project managers are starting to use the app because we're not going to put wearables on those people. No way. So, but for the technicians, you saw the first video. I mean, he needs both hands to show the customer exactly what he's doing, or he needs both hands, especially for the remote support. That's when you got to have the wearables. So you need both. You need both. Good question. Anything else? Thanks.